Today, we're diving into three major topics that are shaking up the market. The first one is Elon Musk and Trump talking about a $5,000 dividend payment to every U.S. taxpayer. The second one being the SEC cracking down on cybercrime, with the third being the stock market hitting all-time highs once again. What's going on? My name is Ray Vaughn, and let's see what all this means for traders and investors. In one of our previous videos, we actually talked about Elon Musk and DOGE and what he's doing for the government right now. He's working very closely with Trump to clean up things that everyday people like us don't even think about. And what I mean by that are systems that are used to actually run government programs, even thinking about Social Security or anything to do with sending out money federally, so the US Treasury, all these kind of things play a big part in how society is ran, but we really don't have to think about it, right? So what they're discovering with DOGE is obviously a lot of payments that were sent to companies or organizations that they shouldn't have been. A lot of money just kind of lost in the books, as in it was never sent anywhere, but it was just kind of sitting in the computer, amongst other things, right? They were talking about Social Security and how there are people still receiving Social Security checks that were over 150 years old.
Welcome back. Elon Musk's DOGE, that's the Department of Government Efficiency, has asserted that fraud exists and might even be rampant within the Social Security Administration.
I don't know about you, but I don't think I've ever heard of somebody living that long. So it's been this joke as they're discussing these topics in front of the Senate, in front of an audience. It's just funny because you would think the government has such an efficient system, especially with the AI and stuff that they have now. But the thing is that the system has been outdated for so long, and I think what Trump and Elon are doing now is just updating the whole system, right? It's bringing it up to the point, utilizing the technology of the 21st century that we have now to really optimize and make sure that everything is accounted for. So with that being said, Elon Musk has actually, with DOGE, been able to find a significant amount of money. And what they're talking about actually doing with this money is giving 20% back to tax-paying Americans. On top of that, they're planning on paying back some of the U.S. debt with the other 20%. And then I guess with the 60%, I don't know what they're going to do with it. They haven't really discussed that part yet. But if they were to give back that 20% to people who are able to receive payment, which are tax-paying Americans, then they're saying somewhere around $5,000 would be sent out to each person. Now, I want you to leave your opinion below. How do you feel about this? Do you think that we should be getting more free money from our government? Do you feel like it's your money anyway, so you should be getting it back? Put it down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think about this particular situation. But nonetheless, I want to talk more so on the investing side, right? How would this actually affect the markets? So what we want to think about is, I'm sure you guys heard of the FTX situation where there were a ton of traders' funds that got locked in this brokerage because of the fact that it went bankrupt. And because of that fact, these traders have literally, after I believe like 2 or 3 years, barely started getting their funds back, right? And it's starting to come into the market. And we're seeing certain coins, we're seeing certain markets start to actually pick up a bit because of the influx of the hundreds of billions of dollars. So now I want you to think about the everyday American who, I want to say is somewhere around like 60 to 80% of households are unable to have a savings of $1,000, right? Majority of them are living paycheck to paycheck or even worse. When we think about this stipend being sent out to everyday Americans, that $5,000 could be that life-changing opportunity they need to get ahead. So in one hand, it is really good. The other hand would be the person who is already still doing okay. And, this would just kind of be investment money or something like that. So let's say that the same way that we seen during the shutdowns and lockdowns and all that kind of stuff, the stimulus came out for the 1400. There were different programs to help if you had small businesses that had to close, or if you were a working American that couldn't go to work anymore, there were also programs for that. So when all that money, that excess money had nowhere to go, right? Because the thing is, people are consumers. People love to spend their money, put it into something. During that time, if there's an influx of money and people are not used to it, of course, they're going to buy things that they normally wouldn't. They're going to buy the better cars. They're going to buy the bigger houses. And then they're also going to start investing because now they're like, well, let me see what this is about. And that's exactly what's going to happen again. If everyone is to be given $5,000, there's going to be a lot invested into crypto. Now, I want you to think about the news outlets and how they've been pumping it the last few months and even years, right? Bitcoin before was seen as this bad thing. crypto was seen as a bad thing. And then all of a sudden the government comes out and says, you know, we're actually going to be utilizing this technology. We're backing Bitcoin. All these big hedge funds are coming out. The BTC ETF is passed. And now there's a whole bunch of other cryptocurrencies that are getting ETFs coming out, with XRP or Ripple being one of the first cryptocurrencies to technically be a legal asset in the United States. So there's no other cryptocurrency at the moment with the clarity that Ripple has. And once again, this is just the start. So think about now in a few years where we'll be at. I think Elon Musk is showing us right now where the world is headed. And everything in the future is unfortunately going to be tracked on some sort of ledger and using blockchain technology. It's already been talked about. It's in progress as we're talking about it now. And it may even be that that $5,000 payment that they send out is through a blockchain technology. This can be the first time that we actually witness the government utilizing a program as such and making sure that all the people receiving that payment had to sign up for a crypto ledger, crypto wallet, something of that sort. So it's definitely going to be interesting seeing how this plays out over the next few months. So once again, all we want to think about is anytime there's excess money, it's always going to be a bullish thing for investing. And an even easier way to think about it is inflation, right? When people have a lot of money, prices go up because people are willing to pay more for things. Let's put this into perspective, right? If everyone currently, and I'm just generalizing for this example, let's say that everyone is making $50,000 and there's all these cars in that price range that are selling off the lot very quickly. But then there's another price range for people who are making $1 million a year, and unfortunately there's not enough people, so it's not selling much. But all of a sudden something happens, right? They make a lot of money, and the people going from 50,000 move up into the next bracket of $1 million. Now, all of those cars in the $1 million range that people could afford now are going to be getting taken off of the lot. And this happens over and over, and it happens in every single tax bracket. So now, no matter if you're lower class, middle class, upper class, you're still getting these stimulus. This is going to cause inflation. So if you do own assets, this is an amazing thing. This is something that you should be happy about and looking forward to. If you don't own assets, this is probably going to hurt. And what I mean by that is the prices of things are just simply going to continue going up. So the prices of homes or rent is going to go up. The prices of your everyday groceries are going to go up. The prices of assets such as gold and silver and cryptocurrencies and stocks, they're all going to continue to go up because of the fact that there's more excess money to be pushed around. And this goes hand in hand with what we're seeing in the markets now, with the stock market actually reaching a new all-time high. Right now, we're in a very interesting period. I want to show you guys a chart actually that I'll put up on the screen, but it talks about when to invest and when to take profits. And right now, we're in a period where we should still be holding on to assets and still allowing them to appreciate. And then around 2026 is when the chart actually says that it'll be a good time to take profit. So right now with the stock market, what we're seeing is the epitome of evolution, right? In so many different areas, but we have the tech sector, we have the AI sector, we have energy sector, we have Trump being elected and everyone understanding that he's this businessman who's focused on making America run more efficient. And my goal is not to get into politics. I'm not saying I'm for or against anyone or that he will follow through with what he said. I'm just going off of the image that is being portrayed at the moment. What we do have to think about is, although the market is at an all-time high and it's continuously pushed higher, higher, and higher after making all these new highs, what we do have to think about is technically it does not have to stop going up. And what I mean by that is the market can continue going up longer than you could short it. And that's just being honest. So if I want to try to short sell this market and I have a savings of the $5,000, the market can easily eat that up and then turn around months down the line, years down the line. And I'm like, I knew it would turn around, but obviously I can't even take advantage of the move that happened at this point. So keep in mind that just because the market is sitting at an all-time high does not automatically mean that it has to come back down, or at least when you think it will. It's better to be patient. It's better to play the long game and understand that at the moment we're in a season in which the market is consistently pushing higher. So what would kind of give me the hint that the market might be slowing down? The first thing I'm going to start looking at is, of course, inflation, as far as is it getting to a point where people are struggling significantly. And this is, of course, going to be on a spectrum, because we can say that people already are struggling a lot. But what we want to start looking at is when it becomes even more inflamed or engulfed, right? Everything we're looking at starts to be complaints on social media about what's going on.
47% of my income goes to rent currently, which is just so unsustainable.
When you drive down the street, have you noticed a significant difference? When you are at work, do you see people or hear people talking about the struggles that they're going through a lot more than usual? Your family, when you meet up with them, have you noticed the conversations start to change? These are all good insights from the people around you, because what you have to remember is that the markets are based off of mass psychology, as in what are the masses thinking about? That's what the market is going to react off of. So if we start to notice that the people around us that we're running into day in, day out are starting to shift their bias, right? Because these are probably the people that watch the news religiously. These are probably the people who are actually going to be more so of sheep mentality versus you, who are kind of going against the grain and carving your own path, thinking your own thoughts. So you want to look around you and see exactly what these people are talking about. This is one of the best investing hacks that you can ever do. Now, the next one would be actually tracking the portfolios of politicians. And this one is actually funny that this is a thing that you can do to actually trade profitably. But for an example, if you look at someone's portfolio like Nancy Pelosi, she's made a killing over like the last few years since she's been in her seat. But the thing is, all of their portfolios are actually public information, and you can actually follow along placing trades based off of when they actually get into companies. And, conspiracy or not, what you'll start to notice is a lot of times they get in before the big move happens. So we're usually caught trying to get these small gains of, a few percent, while they're playing the game of loading up millions of dollars, and then they see a huge significant jump, making them 10 million, 20 million, etc. And this is how we want to start following them. As in, if your net worth right now is $1,000, take 10%, take 20%, and start investing it into what these politicians are actually investing into. You'll start to notice that, I would say within 6 months to 8 months, you will start to see some growth in your account based off of those investments. Now, since this once again is a whole conspiracy of insider trading and all that kind of stuff, you do have to keep in mind that they are kind of investigating that area right now. It's interesting because, once again, with politicians, we have to understand the game of all of this. They're being paid from a million different companies that are lobbying to get what they want, right? So if I'm a politician and I work in a certain area and I own a company now, and I want this company to be the brand that is hosting all of the events, right? The big events in that city. Or, I want to put my vending machines in the main restaurants and sports arenas. Lobbying is what can get it there, right? Supporting this politician, putting money in their pockets, etc. That is kind of like the games being played on the back end, but on the front end, we're not really worried about all that. All we're worried about is, can we follow along and make some money with you? And this is where you have to also kind of separate emotions, or how you feel about the person, how you feel about what they're doing, and understand that at the end of the day, this is business, this is investing. And if you feel that this is giving you an edge, simply follow along with it. Now, besides that, the last thing I kind of wanted to talk about was just the fact that the SEC is actually upping their crime cyber unit when it comes to crypto. And this is actually a good thing, because more security, more safety, more regulation around this right now will actually attract more people into the space. I mean, they're still trying to change the narrative that Bitcoin is only used for the dark web and all of these negative things, and trying to switch it to allowing the everyday person to see the benefits of it, the efficiency of crypto, and the fact that it's transparent. They have this ledger that can never disappear. No transaction can go missing, right? So there's so many pluses in other areas that crypto gives, but they're still trying to change this narrative. So by them actually creating a new unit that's going to be focused on kind of cleaning up this space, hopefully we see less of the people running away with money, doing rug pulls and all that kind of stuff. But we start to see more so of a space that is focused on professionalism, focused on doing the right thing, right? And allowing us to be a part of it, still making money aside them, but with it being done safely and securely. But nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know down below what you think about these topics and what you want me to include in the next video. Take care. I'll see you next time.